often people talk about the success, but they don't speak of the failures that litter the road of success. For success is not a straight path. That's what I want to engage you with today. In fact, quite comically and ironically, I was just checking into one of my businesses. And in fact, let me rewind before that. When I was having breakfast, I asked the young lady, I said, "What's one thing that you're thankful for per our tradition?" And she asked me to go first. And so I said, I'm really thankful that I have great teams. I have a real estate team that's working effectively. I have folks helping me with my paper assets. I have people working, managing my factories for my leather goods. I have a couple fashion businesses. I have all these teams that are working on my behalf, allowing me to get more done. I got a great team on the YouTube and social media side. So I said, I'm very thankful that I can do so much because I have strong teams, business systems. And then she proceeded to tell me what she was thankful for. And then I said to her, I said, you know what? My software business is moving a little slow. I need to check in on that team. And also shout out to Josiah, the executive in Florida, great business partner of mine as well. And he was getting with me. He was saying, hey, the guys on the software side are becoming unresponsive. We need to do something, which is a fact. You always want to be urgent, nip things in the bud. So anyways, I went to go check on the software business that we're building. And I noticed that they had basically billed me several $1,000s back in July. I just didn't notice. And they were not supposed to have billed me. So immediately we had to take up an issue, and then just basically realizing they were essentially attempting to steal and commit fraud. This is an important part of business. It's kind of like love. When you're pursuing relationships and love, you're going to get your heart broken. That's actually a part of the process. You'll be disappointed. You'll get your heart broken. It is what it is. And then in business, people will cheat you, lie to you, steal from you, break contracts, sue you. That's a part of the business. And similarly in both, you really only have to win one time. You only have to win one time in love if you plan to be married in a monogamous relationship. You only have to win one time in business if you would like to have a business system that can support you for the entirety of your life and provide you passive income and give you a leisurely life. You only got to win once. Does not mean you're going to get through this boxing match without any scrapes, scratches, bruises, or black eyes. The best of us are able to endure the pain and the challenge with humor, joy, and grace. So anyways, upon finding that these folks tried to steal several $1,000s from me, of course I chuckled because, and I first asked myself, how can I be thankful? How can I have gratitude as I deal with this thing that could be bothersome? So my first thing I said to myself, because you have to be able to manage your own mind, I said, I'm thankful that I have enough that people taking a couple $1,000s from me is largely invisible. It's not something that I would notice unless I'm specifically tracking and searching, basically auditing my own finances. And so I was very thankful for that. And then I asked myself, and this is what you should do. This is something I've done for many years. When I take an L of any kind, I ask myself, well, how do I do something innovative, something new, something that's going to give me a big win? How do I work 3 times as hard or get 3 times the impact to basically cover over that misstep or that mistake or that setback? Because that's a part of the game that's going to happen. But the question is, how do you make sure that bounce back is stronger than that L? You dig? Yeah, it's c'est la vie. When things like that happen to you, c'est la vie. Such is life. You can't allow it to break you up or get you too bothered. It just is what it is. Another tip that I'll give you guys is you always want to strengthen your systems, right? And also your partners. But the thing that I want you guys to remember is when you take a setback like this, you should ask yourself, how can I shore up my partnerships and strengthen my partnerships, like the other persons that I rely on? And also, how do I make sure that I can hold these parties accountable? So, for example, one of the things that I know I'm going to have to go through is a dispute with my bank. Hey, these guys defrauded me for this number of thousands of dollars. I need the money back. And if they don't agree or give me the money back, what am I going to do? That's right. I'm going to leave the bank. Absolutely. I'm going to call up. So one, this was a business account. So first thing is I was paying all these business expenses from a business account. Generally, when you have a legitimate business account, especially one that's receiving significant number of deposits, whether it's what you're starting the account off with or monthly deposits, you'll be assigned a banker. And your banker is really your advocate and your true business partner at that institution. They are your champion. So as the dispute is going through, you'd be wise to probably reach out to them as soon as you put it in through the formal systems. And if it comes back and it's not favorable, you'd be wise to call up your banker and say, hey, can you fix this? And if they can't fix it, say, okay, well, I'm going to close my account. Can you mail out my funds to this account? Or excuse me, this address, send my funds here, and then just get a different bank. Usually they'll change their tone. If they don't, then get another bank that's more favorable. And you'd be wise to ask your business partners, your colleagues, people you respect, people who are well off. Hey, who do you bank with? Do you have good service from them on a personal level, particularly with regards to chargebacks, disputes, refunds, things like this? And that's critical. When we're talking about business, you're going to experience challenges. The best thing you can do in business is to find people you trust, employees, contractors that you trust. And the wisest way to do that is to use people who are already vetted, which means that you ask your friends, family, and those who are successful, hey, who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? That is the smart way to do it. Now let's get into these notes. But first, let me honor our tradition, which is show love to those who show love to you. Shout out to Gravity. He writes, happy to see the channel growing rapidly. Indeed, and I appreciate that. And it's due to a number of things. Number one, your support. All of you all who watch regularly, you hit the like button, you support financially, you share the videos. You are the core driving force of everything we do. And I thank each and every one of you. I've taken the capital that you provide in terms of your support, and I've given it right back to you. We have our video editor who, like you all, was just watching the content. Now he's on board, one of the hardest working gentlemen that I've had the pleasure of working with, very productive and creative. And he's done wonders for the channel and putting out content. So I thank him. I thank you. And I want to note that there's so much trust there. And when there's trust, you don't have to worry about being defrauded and things like that. And that's been really the engine of this growth you've seen. Oh, and here's another thing. Let me drop some real game. At some point, I'm going to, I don't know exactly how I want to do this, but I know that I'm way behind. I just need to get started. I'm a true believer in collisions. This is something that Tony Hsieh talked about, and he's now deceased. He used to be, rebuilding downtown Las Vegas. He was a businessman. He ran Zappos. He really was innovative in the customer service space. But anyways, the point is this. The idea that you increase collisions, which is to say contact points among people who are productive and intelligent, and you would design your office space to make sure your employees are having more time to interact and engage with one another. I have the same concept, and so I want to have more time for people to co-locate overnight events, get the guys together who are geniuses, who are highly productive, who are working on exciting businesses, have good ideas and get things done. 3 or 4 guys, everybody of course have their own accommodations within the same roof. Bring in some ladies or order whatever we got to do to make sure that we're not worrying about irrelevant things like cooking and cleaning. Have a maid staff come in regularly, and we just spend time hustling, but as a joy, you know what I'm saying? And collaborating or not collaborating, just hustling in the same room so we can be inspired. You see, inspiration is important. There are times people tag me on IG and I might have gotten a workout in and I look at what they did. I'm like, I ain't get one in good enough. Let me go just do a round 2 on that. Because they sharpening me up. Because here's the thing about our culture as saints, you dig? I will pull up at your city at some point. And if I got time, I'm saying, bring the men together. Let's get a workout in. You don't want to fall behind. And I don't want to fall behind. You dig what I'm saying? I don't want to go on a 4-mile run and be the guy in the back. And I know in our culture, that's how we move. So it's about staying sharp, staying around people who are inspired and being real with yourself. People lie to themselves too much. Don't do that. Shout out to Joshua. Comes in with a baller alert. He writes, peace and saints, fellow saint in West Palm Beach, Florida, put eyes on one of my properties, which is currently under construction. Shout out to Joshua, yo. We were just talking about this recently. He was saying he's getting into the building game. I love to see it. He writes, saved me traveling costs and allowed me to finish the project sooner. Thank you for building such a strong community, Sassin or nothing. There it is. There it is, man. And that's what it's about. And I want to encourage you guys to ask for more favors, give more favors, because our relationships are so critical. Build your family connection. And that's why one of my goals is to, be able to host some of these holidays that are coming up. That's such a beautiful thing to have people who really care about you. And also you have to realize there'll be some people that used to care about you. They don't care anymore. Some of your women will be like that. Some of your friends will be like that. Some of your own flesh and blood will be like that. And it's okay. You make the necessary adjustments. Shout out to Jalen. Like, for example, I'll just give you one note. I'm not going to say what I was doing, but I was doing something, some real player stuff, some real baller stuff. And I had asked someone to, do me a solid. And this is someone I've done a ton of stuff for. I said, hey, like, can you do me this solid? And I could tell that jealousy made this individual not want to help. Like, they were actually jealous and they did not want to help because of that. And then I was like, oh, mental note taken. Boom, you're out of here. You're out of here. People who love you, man, they love to see you win. They love to see you shine. Okay. If you're doing something fly and people are not supportive or, bigging you up or respecting what you're doing, it's probably because they're jealous. And that's not the kind of person you want around you, because they'll eventually do something to sabotage you or to knock you off. You got to get them out the way. And there's some people you might be like, Marquett, like, how can somebody just sit there and watch you be all successful and famous and they're just going to sit back and, not be jealous? It's their nature. You ever heard of Tony Yayo? Yeah, there's 50 Cent, the guy that we all know well, rapper, broke records with his broke records with his albums. Now he's in the entertainment industry, making television shows that are very successful. Yeah, then there's this guy named Tony Yayo who was with him the whole time. And Tony Yayo has always been the number 2 guy, and he's always been comfortable being the number 2 guy. And he always gives all due respect to 50 Cent as the number 1 guy. We're not all going to be the star. And sometimes we are, and sometimes we're not. But the fact is, when you view someone as your family and you really love them, you love to see them win. And you take pride in their accomplishments. It's like them making $1 million is like you making $1 million. Come on now. Shout out to LC. He writes, thank you. Will be purchasing Boss University to be a boss of myself. And I highly recommend it. I'm extremely proud of that product. Boss University, I'm very proud of. It's an extensive course. It's very rigorous. It takes you into a number of critical areas, starting with self-improvement, self-awareness, talks about relationships, talks about business, ends with self-sustainability. These are the categories. Self-sustainability. Marquett, well, what do you mean? Meaning that if you think you're going to hustle like me, you got to have a plan for the marathon. You got to have a plan to fight 15 rounds. Yeah, because it's going to require you to stay after it. Shout out to Josiah. He had just messaged me. He said, hey, man, it's been a pleasure to be on this journey with you, because we're talking about how the Ukrainian folks we're dealing with tried to defraud me. And he's saying, I didn't expect there to be so many challenges in business. I said, oh, yeah, absolutely. This is the name of the game. Sometimes it's like this, and sometimes it just goes swimmingly, and it's very smooth, and the dough flows in quickly. And sometimes it's not the case. I said, but the beautiful thing is that, like love, when you get it right, boom. That's all you needed. You just need that one hit. Boom, hit this out of the park. Home run. We're good now. And persistence overcomes resistance. That's what it is. Persistence overcomes resistance.